Good afternoon. Welcome to Knittings and Sewings, a podcast set in the Kansas City area. I have my trusty colleague Walter here with me today, as usual. We are coming to you from Kansas City, Missouri, and we frequently do a lot of different fiber crafts, including knitting, spinning, sewing, weaving, and crochet. So I'm going to begin today's podcast. We're at episode 38, and I'm going to be wearing a shawl I just finished. This is a crochet shawl that I talked to you about last time in episode 38, but I had not yet quite finished it. So this is a Bagoday crochet. Here's her name of it. It's called the Crochet Easy 2-Row Repeat Shawl. And she published this YouTube. It's a YouTube tutorial. She put it out right around the Thanksgiving time period in 2024. So I started this. It took me a little while to get the hang of it. And in fact, I had my friend Judy, my crochet expert. She helped kind of decipher and write out the pattern for me because I was having trouble following it at first. It's not that it's hard. It's not hard at all, but it is a 7-row. There's a 5-row setup, and then you repeat rows 6 and 7 until you complete the size that you want. And I want to show you this real quick. I'll have a full picture of it. But the texture is very interesting. On one side, you have some very textured holes, and on the other side, either side could be the right side. But this has some more dangly little chains in between. As you can see, there are these chains that connect the cells of the shawl. So you could use either side as your right side. I love the colors in this. And at first, I wasn't sure I was going to like this shawl because it's more of a wider shawl than longer. But I ended up really liking it, and I'll tell you why. First of all, the fact that you can wear it 2 different ways, whether you want to have it, with the whole side showing or with the more textured side showing. Either side is fairly textured. But what I really love about it is that you can put each little end, you have these long ends, and you can put them through the holes to anchor the shawl in place. So I really like the fact that you don't need any shawl pin with this. And of course you can wear it, bandana style. You can make it smaller if you like, so that it's just around your neck. You can just wear it butterfly style where it hangs down. Or you can wear it bandana style where it kind of covers your blouse more and, tie it in the back. But again, what I really like about it is the fact that you do have the wider points. Because this is much wider than it is long in the spine, then you can put the long pieces through the holes and you don't need any shawl pin. This one ended up being 66 inches wide and not quite 30 inches in the spine. And usually I like my spines of my shawls to be more like 54 inches. And, so I usually like a lot more spine in the back. But it worked out fine. I was really happy with this in spite of my initial concerns about it being wider rather than taller. I ended up liking the way it turned out. And I used Tea Time by Hobie, the yarn line Tea Time. This is about a light worsted weight shawl. It's considered a 3-weight, but it's actually, it's probably a 3. It's an acrylic. It's 100% acrylic. I love the colors in it. You have the peaches, the charcoal, the navy, the rose. Very nice colors. And pink. Did I say hot pink? So I really like this. I bought 2 of the skeins, which are about 634 yards. I thought I was going to need both cakes, but it ended up I only needed 1. This shawl I just crocheted until I ran out of the 1 ball and then stopped and called it good. And so I still am going to have this one skein left that I'm going to give to my friend Judy because she likes this shawl too. She's the one that was nice enough to write out the rows for me so I could follow the pattern more easily. So anyway, I really like this shawl. It ended up being definitely a winning project. And I'm happy to have completed it in time to wear, just as our weather is starting to get a little bit colder. We've had kind of a delayed, fall and winter. We're just now getting a little bit of the chillier temperature. So I'm going to be able to wear this shawl this winter, and I'm going to find it very wearable. So I would definitely recommend this. I want to talk about the Christmas socks that I mentioned last time that I was going to be starting, these Christmas socks. I've almost gotten down now. I'm to the point where I'm going to begin the toe. So one sock is nearly finished. I like the heel flap. It's a slip stitch heel flap. And the way this sock goes, this is one by Treasure Goddess. It's her pattern. It's a simple ribbed sock, and I'll have a link for you below. But my friend Treasure Goddess made this pattern. It's very simple to follow. It's a ribbed sock, and I like ribbed socks because they really stay up very nicely, don't fall down on your leg, and they just, hug your leg in a nice way. This starts with ribbing, tighter ribbing at the top, and then it goes to 3 knits and 1 purl ribbing for the main leg. So it has a little bit of altered ribbing. I like the sparkliness of this yarn. This is the Hobie Christmas yarn that I talked about last time. I'll put a link up. I don't know if they still have this yarn, and I don't mind the fact that I'm going to be finishing these after Christmas, because right now is actually Christmas Eve. And so I will not obviously be finished with these in time to wear them, but I may wear them into January, to be honest. And I tend to wear Christmas socks anytime I need a little lift, and especially ones that are this sparkly and cute. This is the Christmas glitter sock yarn by Hobie, and they have several different colorways in this. They may still have some, who knows, that you could get on clearance. And the other yarn that I was talking about earlier, the Tea Time shawl yarn, these come in beautiful colors. And this yarn is also by Hobie. I made the color 06, which is, 06, which is Pour. They have all different kinds of tea. This is PU-UHURH or something like that. I'll send a link, provide a link for you if you're interested in this. And then the sock yarn, again, is the Christmas glitter sock yarn. So both of these happen to be Hobie yarns. As you know, I'm always on a budget, and I don't keep a stash anymore. So I just buy the immediate things I'm going to be using for my projects. And so I was very happy to get right on these socks, and I will wear these, even if it's in January or February. And of course, then I'll have them ready for next Christmas to wear all through December. But I really love these, and it's really fun working on them as I watch the old Christmas movies. I just rewatched Elf the other day, and we rewatched one last night that I'm not sure what the name of it was. But we're watching our Christmas movies right now, and while we're watching, I am knitting. In terms of spinning, I have really been enjoying getting back to my drop spindles lately. This one is a particularly lovely one that I recently purchased from Jarita at a Mystical Farms. She is a farmer here in the Missouri area who is also a craftswoman, and she has an Etsy shop. This is a lovely spindle that she made from ceramic. And this is a mulberry, actually, a mulberry leaf. A lot of her work is centered around a theme of the forest or the wood, because she lives in a wooded area. And since I love the woods, that's what first captivated me about her work when I saw her vending at one of the local fiber festivals. I don't remember if it was the Ozark Fiber Festival or Fiber U, but one of those here in Missouri. I happened upon her shop, and she does have, she does do the ceramic spindles and dizzes a lot of times, but she's talked about winding that down. She has a couple of more spindles left from her last time she made these earlier this month. So if you would like to take a look at what she has available, I will provide a link to her Etsy store. She also sells like Kromsky rigid heddle looms and other types of things. She's a shacked vendor. So she has a lot of different, and she has a blog talking quite a bit about her different crafts in progress, mainly on rigid heddle, and she's now ventured into inkle loom. And so anyway, but I wanted to particularly share this spindle I just got. I'm really happy with it. And it just, I've been in the mood lately. I think I mentioned this on one or two of my most recent, podcasts, that I'm getting back into the spindle spinning because it's just such a relaxing, and I've had such a hectic last couple of months. Things have been really, really stressful for me. And so getting back to the simple things like the spindle spinning has really been a good thing for me. And then I was thinking what I'm going to do. I haven't yet plied the yarn I'm making. I am spinning up some fiber from my stash that I bought at a fiber show several years ago. And I'm enjoying the colors in this. We have the blues, the olive greens, the purples, the navy. All my favorite colors are in here. And I am, what I'm going to try doing, these are some of the spindle spinning I've done with that spindle I just showed you. And what I'm doing is going to apply them from my regular spinning wheel. I don't know if I'll use the e-spinner to do this or if I'll do it on my regular matchless spinning wheel. But I'm going to just try doing small amounts like this and seeing if that works for me. If applying them together like that, I'm going to do a 2-ply yarn. And I believe this will be able to be sock yarn. I think I've got it, from what I've measured, it looks like it's going to be thin enough for sock yarn. So that's what I'm working on right now. And I'm really just enjoying the slow pace during the hectic season that I'm in right now. I'm just going to take it slow and easy in every way. I'm going to have a slow and easy Christmas. We're just getting together with my mom here at the house. Things are going to be really simple. And I'm trying to go for a calmer state of mind because lately I've been really stressed. And so everything I can do to simplify, I'm going to do. And that goes with my spinning as well. But since this is this beautiful ceramic spindle, I want to be able to carry it around without the risk of breaking it. So, because I imagine if I drop this on the floor, the hard floor, it would be bad. So, or if I carry it and drop it. So I'm going to make a spindle bag for it. I've been thinking about how I'll go about doing that, and I've got some ideas in mind. But I do want to make a rectangular spindle bag for this. And so I'll let you know next time if I've managed to do that and how the yarn works up once I've got it plied. One thing, I'm kind of going in a different order this time. We're having kind of a chattier episode 38 than I usually have, but I wanted to just tell you some things that are on my mind because as we approach the new year, I told you last year my word was connection, and this year I wanted to roll out a new word for 2025. I have had pretty good success with the connection theme, and this year what I think I would like to do is I'm going to be using the word or the term divine order because I really want to trust the way things unfold a little bit more. I'm not going to I'm going to try to be more open to doing some meditation this year and some getting in touch with just letting the divine order of things roll out in my life. I kind of started doing that last year a little bit. And definitely as I see things coming up, I'd like to just be more with events as they roll out. And so I'm going to use the term divine order. And I think that will help guide me. And of course, in the new year, as always, I want to eat healthier, eat less processed foods. And so I am going to, I've already started that here at the end of this year to kind of clean up my diet even more. I have been trying to, eat less carbs and things like that. Doing several things like that for my health. So I'm going to, another thing I'm going to be doing is, in years past, I followed the Whole30 program. This was the old Whole30, and I loved a lot of the recipes in this book. And so I did that for a while, and I did a whole 30 days of it, and it really helped clean up my diet back then. That was several years ago. And I haven't really done anything with that since, other than I found a lot of success for myself if I do lower carb type focus in my diet. So then I just found out that they have a new book, the new Whole30, that Melissa Harwig came out with. She's now called Melissa Urban. But I just got this book, and I'm really listening to her book on audio as well. And so I think I'm going to be trying that. I've already started working on it the last 4 or 5 days. I've been doing Whole30. And so just basically trying to eliminate a lot of the processed foods. And she only recommends you do that for about 30 days in its, in its most strict part of it. And then you can gradually reintroduce some of the foods that you've eliminated. So it's not a diet, it's just a way to eat healthier and to improve your lifestyle. So I'm definitely going to be going to that into the new year. And again, trying to just simplify things in my life. I could almost have the word simplify or simple. I thought about that as being one of my words. So I'm kind of still debating what my word is going to be. But I do want to get my house in more order. So divine order, not only divine order, but regular order also in my house. Getting things more organized and streamlining what I really want to work on and eliminating from my house and my life things that no longer serve me. So I think that'll be the focus for 2025, but I'll let you know more about how that's going once the new year starts. Talking more about crochet. I don't know why, but I've been on kind of a crochet kick lately. And one thing I did in the summer, you may remember, is to crochet these granny squares. I was going to make a granny square purse. And what happened is I kind of put that away in the midst of making my Hobie sweater that we made, that our group made as a knit-along, my knitting group. But I had 13 of these squares in various shades of navy, lilac, purple, gray, and I was going to assemble them into a little bag for me to carry. And I haven't yet done that. So and honestly, what happened for a while is I misplaced it in my project closet. So I just uncovered that the other day. I thought, I really want to get these together and make this bag. So that's going to be one of my projects I want to get started on very quickly here. Is before I do anything else, I'd like to finish this up because it's one that's been just lingering since the summer. And I think it is a little bag that I would carry if I put in a cloth lining, sew in a lining. I think it'll be something I would actually use. So that is on my agenda. And the reason that I thought about this again was because I've been wanting to make the Jethro Cardigan. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a combination of granny squares with some knitted body for the cardigan. I'll put a picture up here of the Jethro Cardigan. And I've been hanging out with a lot more crocheters lately. I'm still mainly a knitter, and I feel like that's what I do best. But I have been having this yearning for crochet, and as you know, if you've known me from the past episodes, I usually start craving crochet a lot when things are hectic in my life and I want a little bit more, relaxation and slow making. And for some reason with crochet, it works up quickly, but it gets me in a more slow making kind of mentality. So I really enjoy crochet when I'm feeling stressed like right now. So I think that for me, the Jethro Cardigan is really appealing. And I might start working up some granny squares. And I'm thinking of using what little stash I have left. The only thing I have at the moment is Hobie's Amigo. They have an Amigo, kind of a light worsted as well as a worsted version. And it is acrylic yarn, and it comes in a wide variety of colors. So I pulled out some of those from my closet the other day, because every year at this time I go over my stash and see what I do have, even though mine is very limited right now, and I want to keep it that way. I don't want to build up a big stash again. So I found the Amigo yarn that I'd originally started gathering together for the purpose of making granny squares, and I'm going to take a look at those that I have already and see what might make a good color scheme for a Jethro cardigan. But before I'm going to let myself start working on that, I remembered, I have a Granny Square project that I wanted to finish last summer, which is this purse. So before I let myself get started on a Jethro cardigan, I'm going to make myself first finish up this purse. So hopefully I will be getting that together fairly soon and showing you how that turns out. And I'll let you know more what my plan is as far as the Jethro cardigan. Let me know if you have known anyone who's made the Jethro cardigan, or if it's something that appeals to you at all. I know some people just are not into granny squares whatsoever, but I've always liked them since I grew up a lot during the 70s. In my teenage years, I have a natural love of the granny square. So anyway, in fact, that's one thing that got me to want to crochet. And so I will be looking at that Jethro cardigan. I also would like to start working on a knitted cardigan with my spinning yarn that I showed you last time, the cranberry yarn. So anyway, those are all things floating around in my head as future projects. What projects are you thinking about doing in the new year? I don't want to get myself too backed up where I feel overwhelmed. I do want to keep the slow making mentality and just, I also want to do more sewing. I've already talked about that. So there's a lot of things brewing in my mind, but things are going slowly on my needles lately. Finally, I'd like to cover some books I've been reading. I have been really reading a lot of autobiographies, memoirs. And there are three in particular that I've read this fall, toward the end of fall here, one right after the other. And so I want to talk about these briefly. The first one is the Lisa Marie Presley book. Her daughter, Riley Keough, teamed up with her. She had asked her, before she passed away, she asked her daughter, would you help me write my memoir? I've been trying to do it for years. I have a lot of different excerpts on tape, but I don't feel like I can really put it together myself. I could use some help. Would you be willing to help me do that? So then after her mother's passing last January, in January of 2023, Riley Keough received these tapes in the mail. And they were all the tapes from all these years of her mother recording thoughts about her childhood, her life, her marriages, her whole situation. Of course, and ending with the death of her son, Benjamin, that just devastated her. And so Riley felt compelled to put these tapes together and to record not only her mother's memories of her life, but also combining them and interspersing them with Riley's own memories of growing up and knowing her mother as she was growing up. So they have not only Riley's voice throughout a lot of the tape, or a lot of the video, or Audible. I listen to it on Audible. You might find it, you might prefer to listen to it or to read it in book form. But I really love the Audible version because you actually got to hear Riley Keough's voice, Lisa Marie's voice, as some of them actually her tapes the raw recordings, and then also Julia Roberts narrated some other parts of it. So they wove it together just like a beautiful tapestry. I was really happy with the way the story unfolded. I was inspired, and because I'm a big Elvis fan also, her memories of her father are so heartfelt and poignant that it really was very much even more enjoyable because of that. But I definitely would recommend this story. And the thing about this memoir, it's not a very long one. If you're wanting a shorter one, this one unfolded, just very, very smoothly. And it was not a real long read. I want to say it was like a 5 or 6 hour read, whereas some books are up to 13 hours. So this one was very doable and enjoyable. The next book, the next memoir, was a surprise one for me. It was Elvira. Her real name is Cassandra Peterson. And I don't know if you remember Elvira. If you're old enough, this is dating me a little bit, but in my early 20s maybe, Elvira came out with her movie Macabre, I believe it was called. It was rolled out, originally she was from Los Angeles area, but she started being nationally known for her funny quips about various monster movies and horror movies during the early 80s. They had her on, I think it was every Saturday night. But I enjoyed her because her humor was just great. She made herself look a lot like Morticia Addams from my childhood. She had the very dark, vampy look. And I was surprised to find out that Cassandra herself is actually a red-haired, fair-skinned woman, a very beautiful woman, and she's about 10 years older than I am. So I enjoyed her stories of her life and her career. Ironically, she was born in Manhattan, Kansas, very close to where I live here in Kansas City. And her story was just wonderful. It was inspiring. She ran into all kinds of different celebrities during her time developing her own career. And she started in Las Vegas, actually. She was a showgirl in Las Vegas. So that shows you what an interesting kind of crazy life she led. But I really enjoyed her story, and she's just a very inspiring and funny person. She started life very, a lot of challenges in life, and grew out of a lot of poverty and difficulty and family dysfunction. And she just became a very well-rounded, mentally grounded person, and uses her humor to get through a lot of really stressful, crazy situations. And I was just very interested. Her book is a little bit longer than the Lisa Marie book. I think it's, let me see here. And I read it in both book form. Oh, it's not real long either. It's 269 pages or something like that. So it's also a little bit shorter. But it just is enthralling. I loved it. I couldn't stop reading it. And so I definitely would recommend this. But you might, it gets a little risque in places and a little bit racy. So, but you might check it out and think about listening to this. She narrates it herself. So if you listen to the Audible version, you get to hear Cassandra herself narrating her own story. And I love that part, the fact she did it herself. The last one that I read, the last autobiography, is actually my least favorite. Now, if you are a big Cher fan, you may love that book. I think it's over 500 pages. I just listened to the Audible version. I did not buy the paperback or hardback, the hardback version. It was interesting. I thought I would really like it. I expected to, because as I was growing up as a child, I listened to the Sonny and Cher show, and just really admired Cher all my life. I love her music. I still buy all of her CDs whenever they come out, or albums, not albums, but CDs. And I'm old school. I listen to the CDs. But I love her music. I love her acting. And I loved her on the Sunny and Cher show. For me, the reason I say, and most of you would probably love it if you love Cher, but for me, compared to the other two autobiographies I read, it seemed to be more rambling. In fact, it was at least a 500-page autobiography, and she only did part one. So it's going to be a part one, and someday she says she'll do a part two. So it only carries you from her early childhood and even her mother's childhood, which to me I kind of would rather have started a little bit later. I didn't really need to go into so much of her mother's childhood and life. But it is interesting. And as she says, one thing I loved that she said was that addiction not only ran in her family, but it galloped. I love that. That is true in many families, including my own. But anyway, the Elvira book, there was also a lot of that. And also, of course, in Lisa Marie Presley's book as well, there were elements of people overcoming and dealing with a lot of family dysfunction, including alcoholism and drug addiction and those kind of things. So if you are one who doesn't like to read about those topics, you may not care for any of these memoirs. For myself, I found them inspiring. I loved reading them. I found them entertaining. With the Cher one, I was disappointed that I should have known it only covers part one. That's what it says. But it ended right at the time before she got into her acting career. And I just felt that there may not have been as much self-awareness and insight in Cher's book as in the other two. I feel like she's still grappling with a lot of the same issues that she had earlier in her life. And so I don't know that there was quite the insight in herself that I felt through the other two books. Maybe I'm being judgmental by saying that. But I just would highly recommend the Lisa Marie and Elvira book. And if you're a big Cher fan, you might also dip into it. I guess that about wraps it up this time. I had a lot of chatting. I hope you didn't mind that. Next time, maybe I'll have more projects. We'll see. But I wanted to tell you once again, I really appreciate your joining us for Knittings and Sewings, and hope that you will return next year. This year, I've completed a lot of projects, and I'm starting to kind of think about those, and maybe next time I'll talk to you about what were my favorites that I did during 2024, because I actually did accomplish quite a bit. And we'll talk more about that maybe in the next episode. But I also hope to get started on some new projects, and I just hope that you are having a wonderful holiday season and that next year is even better for you. As I always say at the end of each time we get together, love what you're making and wear what you make. Till next time, goodbye everybody. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.